Good morning. This is ZS6RAD, now operating ZSØAWA, the official station of the Antique Wireless Association of Southern Africa. We're operating this morning on the following frequencies: on 40 meters on 7.125, on 20 meters with a relay by Chris, that is 6GM in Hoedspruit, on 14135, possibly 30 meters, it'll be 10.13125 or thereabouts. On the Santon repeater via the repeater on 145.700. On the Kempton Park repeater via Echolink on 145.6625, and on Echolink via the ZSØAWA server operated by Renato, ZS6REN in Sydenham. So please listen to whichever gives you the best communication. Nice morning this morning, bit of cloud around. Being a wet weekend, we had 45 millimeters of rain earlier in the week, which was very useful. Damped everything down and laid the dust, so there we go. Had a nice call in on 40 meters. I've got ZS, who have I got here? ZS2 Mike Alpha Charlie, Dylan, ZS4 Lima, ZS1 OKO, who is just listening and is very low down, ZS380Y, who I see is not, ZS6 Zulu Alpha, Etienne in Benoni, Rhinefield, and ZR4DJL Louis, who's also gone to Echolink. So anybody else on 40 meters wishing to call in, ZSØAWA?
ZSØAWA, ZS6 good morning, sir. I'm also listening, thank you. From ZR6 Papa Romeo. ZS6 Delta Charlie Mark, good morning. ZS6GA, but just listening.
Okay, I've got ZS6 MNG, Mike, good morning to you. ZS6 Papa Romeo, ZS6 DCM, and ZS6 Golf Alpha, just listening. Anybody else? Okay, nice call in. Thank you guys. Hang around. We'll be with you just now. Okay, let's go over to 20 meters and the rear. ZS6 Golf Mike, ZSØAWA. Chris.
Yeah, this is ZS6GM. Right. Looks like we're doing okay this morning. 20 meters, 14135. ZS6GM listening.
Good morning. S7 into George.
Right, we've got ZS380Y, ZSAHF. There was a third station there as well. ZS1 OKO. Good morning, Oko. Anyone else?
Good morning, Chris. I don't know if you can hear me. 9J2BS.
9J2BS. Good morning, Jerry. Let's see. Anyone else like to call in? Okay, that's it. I'm not on my usual radio this morning. My FT990's processor's gone into hang-up mode again, so I'm just running 100 watts on the old TK80 commercial rig, but this is the good old faithful standby, so I trust everyone's copying well. Andy, let me just get a report from you on audio quality.
Yeah, good morning, Chris. 5 and 5 here into the Northern Cape. Good audio, no problem at all. ZS380Y.
Thanks, Andy. There was somebody else called in with Andy. Who was that?
Division 1.
Yeah, I've got you. Sorry, there was somebody else, Div 1. Who is the Div 1 station?
Division 1.
ZR6 Whiskey Tango Stroke 1. Okay, we've got you, Stuart. Right, there was somebody else in there as well. So let me just give my list. 380Y, 2AHF, 1OKO, 9J2BS, ZR6 Whiskey Tango Stroke 1. Was there anyone else that was calling? ZS6GM? ZS2MAC, good morning, Dylan. Long time no hear. Good signal here into Hoedspruit this morning. Anyone else? No, I think that's it for now. Sorry, Andy, can you give me an audio quality report, please? ZS6GM.
Chris, your audio is fine. Absolutely clear. No problem at all, guys.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of noise here this morning as well. And as I said, not my usual rig, but as long as I'm coming through, fine. So we'll turn it back to Rad and Jacques for the AWA. This is ZS6 GM.
ZS 6GM with the 20-meter relay. Good stuff and very beautiful call in. Good morning to Andy, to Russell, to Otto again, to Jerry, to Stuart, to Dylan. Some of you I've spoken to already on 40. But everybody coming through very well, and sounds like 20 meters is working nicely this morning. Thank you, Chris. The ZS0AWA now on the Santon repeater. Call-ins on 145-700. Go ahead.
ZS6BOX, good morning all, just listening.
Morning, Cliff. Anybody else? That is 0AWA.
ZS6 Whiskey Lima Yankee.
Morning, Wally. Final call, Santon repeaters, that is 0AWA. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Morning, Wally. Morning, Cliff. Good to hear both of you this morning. Okay, the Kempton Park repeater, ZS 0AWA, standing by.
All right, good. Now, greeting you and early listening, thank you.
Okay, I've got Rodney. Who was the second station? Okay, don't hear anybody. Okay, and then on Echo Link we have a nice call in there. ZS6REN, ZS1WJ, ZS6GM, Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Charlie Delta, ZL3 Tango Kilo. Is that ZL3? Yeah. Morning, Stan. Good evening to you guys. ZL1 PDT, Peter. ZS6 JPS. Good morning, Mr. President. ZR4 DJL, Louis. ZS380Y, who is on 20 meters, 5 Yankee Hotel, Heather, good morning to you. ZR1 X-Ray, Dion, good morning. And ZR6 Whiskey Tango Division 1, Stuart, good morning, also on 20 meters. So morning, everybody, and hope we all have a nice net. So, Mr. President, ZS6 JPS, Jacques, take it away. ZS0AWA.
Good morning, Rad, and good morning to all the callers in and listeners in. Great call in this morning, and good to hear all of you guys. What a nice chat it will be. So, Rad, thank you for running the net for us, and apologies for my absence last week. I made a big mistake of thinking that I can connect remotely via my phone, which used to work, and alas, after all the settings we tried, it was just not possible. And after speaking to Renata this morning, we noticed, or we gathered that it could be something with the Cell C network that changed in recent times. So I'm on the laptop this morning, and that seems to be working 100%. So there we go. Let's move on to the mission statements. Our aim is to facilitate, generate, and maintain an interest in the location, acquisition, repair, and use of yesterday's radios and associated equipment, to encourage all like-minded amateurs to do the same, thus ensuring the maintenance and preservation of our amateur heritage. Membership of this group is free and by association. Join by logging onto our website, www.awasa.org.za. So there we go. Thanks again, Rad, for running the net. Great call-in. Great to hear all you guys. So I've got a topic that might have been over-discussed in the past. It's quite a cliche topic, if I could put it that way, but it is central to the AWA, I think, and that is CW or Morse Code, constant wave or Morse Code. And it came from a question that I was asked about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Someone said to me, there's a lot of discussion on the forums, apparently on the SRL forum, about Morse code and guys that are trying to get people up to speed and you know, being competitive with Morse code, and some frown upon it and some quite like it. So the question wasn't really about the forum. It was about, does the AWA provide CW lessons or a CW group or CW learning or anything in that sense? And I didn't really have a straightforward answer, which is why I decided to make it a topic. So yes, the topic could be actually quite a wide one if you think about it. We don't really just have to discuss the AWA, you know, providing a core, but we can also chat about what do you think of CW? Is it a mode that that is still very useful? I personally do think so, even though I'm not very proficient in Morse, if at all. So I can copy very, very slight, short words or letters, but I'm not proficient in Morse. It is on my to-do list or my bucket list, as they say. And if you can perhaps comment, Farnsworth method, Koch method, do you prefer apps? Do you prefer on-air lessons and practice? Or do you prefer, for example, in the shack here, I've got a Heathkit Morse code oscillator that you connect any Morse key to, and you can just send out dits and dars and practice wherever you are. It's a very small one, uses a 9-volt battery. And but yes, also gathering dust, so I'm to blame there. You know, people might say that you know, in today's day in life they don't have time, but people tend to find time for the things that they value, that they think are important. So personally, I think there's always time, and in my personal experience, I should make more time to become proficient in Morse code. And yes, so this springs from the question again. You know, what does the AWA think, and what does the members think of CW and of you know, putting that forward for posterity? And if you are not proficient in Morse like myself, have you got any plans? Is it something that interests you? Is it something that does not interest you? If you are proficient in Morse, tell us how it helps you, and whether you enjoy your QSOs or whether you tend to revert to just voice SSB or any other types of modes, or do you really enjoy CW? And again, how did you learn? Was it in the military? Was it Farnsworth? Was it Koch? Was it basically just jumping in the deep end and starting to send? Some guys also say that you should start faster than what you're aiming for. And so it's quite a very interesting topic. And again, it might be a cliche for the AWA, might be a strange topic that's been over-discussed in the past. We can choose a more technical topic again from next week, but I do think this is a fascinating topic, and that this, you know, CW and Morse code lies central to antique wireless. So, so yes, I hope you guys enjoy that one, and really looking forward to the input and your thoughts and ideas, and whether the AWA should perhaps run lessons, whether physical lessons in a classroom somewhere. However, if I just look at the call-ins, I mean, we are scattered across the country and perhaps even cross-border. So perhaps an on-air or a video get-together for Morse code weekly or every second week, every fortnight, perhaps that would be a good idea. So if you guys would be so kind as to give your thoughts on that. Back to you, Rad. ZSØAWA from ZS6JPS.
Yeah, okay, fine, Jacques. Yeah, no, this is a good old chestnut, and the topic is popular for obvious reasons. Morse code is synonymous with antique radio, and I think all of us are competent to some degree of another, and many of us listen. I'm certainly a listener rather than an actual participant. And so I listen to people like Andy and Mike and a few others who are regularly, Tom down in Pietermaritzburg, and people like that, to sort of listen to their discussions, but at the same time also run sort of practice sessions using the Koch method. It's K-O-C-H, for those of you who are not sure how it's spelled, and run on a program called G4, Foxtrot Oscar November, G4FON, which I find excellent. And yeah, and then there are many ways of practice. On air is obviously an obvious choice. Finding people to talk to. People will always slow down for you or speed up for you, as the case may be. And it's a good way of doing it. And practice using computers also. When I first started, there weren't computers, and if you wanted to practice, you had to make cassette tapes or reel-to-reel tapes of on-air conversations and play them back and learn to use them. And the SARL in those days also used to run competitions. They used to run, what were they called? I'm trying to remember now. Competency tests on a regular basis from 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and so on. And you used to listen to those and copy those as well, and judge where you were with your practice. Then as technology advanced and the Curtis chips came out and Venture keys came out and people, the computers came out, things became potentially easier for people to practice CW in sort of using programs like the early versions of the G4F program, and it got a lot easier. But, so that's pretty much where it goes. Andy is probably most proficient. Well, the most proficient and more enthusiastic CW operator we have on the net this morning. Forgive me if I've got that wrong, but somebody will pop up and say, "Hey, no, but I do more than anybody else." Good stuff. Well done. But Andy, I'm going to call you in, and you can give your 6 cents worth of learning and your experiences. So let's do that. I'll call you in on Echolink, Andy, if that's okay with you. ZS380Y with the group ZSØAWA.
Right, ZS0AWA, ZS380Y. Sorry, Brad, I didn't have the mic connected there, but yeah. Good morning to you, good morning to everybody on frequency, and yeah, lovely subject. I must say Morse code is really something that's close to my heart, and I have enjoyed Morse code since the time that I first got my license in 1984. So yeah, there was a time period when I didn't do it, but then thanks to Rod, when he was president of the AWA, I sort of approached Rod and said to him, "Come on, CW is part of the AWA, it's part of Antique Wireless," and he said to me, "So go ahead and do something about it." So that was my initiation back into CW again. But yeah, it's rad, as you say. The Koch method to me is probably one of the best around. I really think it's an excellent program, excellent way to learn. And one can set up the program to run so nicely. And as Jacques said, maybe start at a higher speed. Yes, set your receiving speed high, but set the gaps between your letters a little bit longer, and that enables you to learn at a speed. So if you set up your letters at 20 words per minute with a large gap in between the letters, it will enable you to hear everything as it's going to be when you finally improve. I've been pushing the AWA CW net for years. Every Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock on 7025, there's the AWA net, CW net. There's still guys who call in there now. Conditions have not been great for me. I haven't been able to get in, so we have a short they have a short chat on 7025, and then go to 30 meters to 10115, and if that doesn't work, then we go to 20 meters to 14025. So yeah, there's you know, we've been trying to push CW in the AWA for many years. Old man Barry ran the AWA net for many years, and of course it, as you say, Rad, rightly so, it should be part of the AWA. Rudy ZS2 Mike is probably the most proficient CW operator that I know. He has he's won the CQ worldwide competitions. He's got something like nearly 300 countries listed on his DXCC, and him and I have a chat every evening, well, most evenings, when we're all available on 7030 here at 7 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, there's quite a bit around. We try to be as active as possible, and we look forward to anybody coming along and joining us. You don't have to be 100% proficient. We'll slow down for you. As Rad said, anybody will slow down for you. QRS is the word, and hopefully we'll get more people interested in CW sometime. Now that it's not something that has to be done, there are quite a few people that have been active. As far as teaching people, I've taught a few people over the internet how to do CW. We've run a CW class. So yeah, we have done these things before, but the interest has to be there. So yeah, we can certainly look at doing something like that again, or just proficiency classes. Rad, those ones that you used to say about the SARL, the proficiencies that they used to do, if you sent in your reply to the SARL, you used to get a proficiency certificate which said that you could copy at such and such a speed. So yeah, there's a lot can be done, there's a lot is to be done, and I believe we can, the AWA can play a big part in that. ZSØAWA, ZS380Y.
From ZS6RAD, yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andy. And yeah, so there's plenty of opportunity out there. As I say, the AWA does run the net on a Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, and Andy talks to Rudy in the evening at 7. And I've heard Mike often, MWS, I think it's MWS, I think he's Mike, and hear him regularly, anywhere between 7025 and 7030, and normally guys are around there. So give a call, and if you're interested in getting your speed up and having some fun with CW. All right, we go back to 40 meters then. Okay, Dylan is on 20, so William, ZS4L, ZS0AWA.
Yeah, ZS0AWA, ZS4 Lima, and finally Rad. Yeah, interesting topic. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of breaking. I'm on the Collins CW MQA, and the copy you guys fine. Yeah, regarding CW, there's, as somebody mentioned, there's various platforms and apps and things you can actually download, and you can practice the copying and try and get the speed up. I think that's the biggest issue. Don't try and transmit before you can't read properly, because it will affect your copying ability. And once you can copy well, get on to say band like 20 or 10, you know, the low portion, and sit there and listen and try and copy what these guys are sending, because machine CW is very different to human CW, and the spacing and the weighting and all that is all different. And once you get proficient with that, then get on the band and start working, start transmitting, or get CW practicing, as Rad says, on 40. That'll be an excellent place to start, but it's always good to copy first and then send. That's my 2 cents worth there, Rad. That is 6 RADs, that is 4 Lima with the AWA group.
Yeah, and of course, never send faster than you can copy. Never send faster than you can copy. It's very easy to get carried away with what you think is an ideal speed. So, but be warned. It's not challenging. Send at a speed that you can copy reliably, and then you won't be embarrassed. So good stuff. Thanks, William. Excellent. And yeah. Okay. Let's see if Occo came up on 20. So we'll jump there. Andy, you've spoken. You're on 20. Etienne, ZS6 Zulu Alpha, ZS0AWA. Okay, not quite sure where Etienne is. So ZS Louis has gone to Echo Link. Mike, ZS6MNG, ZS0AWA. Morning. Okay, Mike's not there. ZS6 Papa Romeo Peter, ZS0AWA.
Papa Romeo, this morning I fantastic program. Like listening to it, but unfortunately I cannot use Morse code. I am interested. I've just downloaded this COCH, and I'm looking at that now on my phone. But in any case, thank you very much for a nice program on this. That are Papa Romeo. Thanks.
Yeah, okay, fine, Jaco. Yeah, go and look for G4, Foxtrot Oscar November, G4 FON, and download that program, and you'll find it's extremely comprehensive. It's also a Koch method, but it's a very, very good program, and I think you'll enjoy that as a not only a learning program, but as a practice program. And it does easily what Andy has suggested, where you can set the word speed higher than the general copy. So if you want to copy at, say, 15 words a minute, you can set the speed at which the words are transmitted to you at a higher rate. So you set them at, say, 20 or 25. And then you listen to it, but the rate at which you hear the words is only 15 words a minute. And it gets you to hear what is being said, not necessarily by letter, but as a word. So you'll find that some words will come very quickly. The word test, for example, because it's so popularly used in contests, T-E-S-T, you will recognize it as a word and not as individual letters, and that's the challenge at the end of the day. But it takes practice, and so there you go. And you'll do that more easily if you set the speed at which the letters are transmitted in words than if you just listen to individual words. So there we go. All right, thanks for calling in, and good stuff. You enjoy it. Daryl, ZS6 Delta Charlie Mike, ZS0AW.
Yeah, morning, Red. I hope you're well. I'm just listening here intensely on what's going on. So, yeah, type me out on the next round. I'm very, very interested in CW, but I haven't got the CW tone and stuff like that. So, very interested, but I won't be listening on 70, 20 and stuff like that from now on, just to hear what they're saying. So, yeah, very good day to you, Red, and I'll just be listening. ZS0AWA, ZS6
Yeah, okay, fine, Daryl. And just to repeat Andy's frequencies, 725 this afternoon, 2 o'clock, going or 10115 or 14025, plus or minus 5. So listen around those frequencies and have a look, but be prepared to listen. If you listen and copy, you'll be surprised what you can how you can improve your CW. All right, good stuff. Anybody else on 40 meters wishing to comment? That is ZSØAWA.
ZS6 Uniform Tango, good morning. This is HB, good morning. ZS6 Alpha Kilo Whiskey, good morning.
Ah, there we go. We have a nice collection of CW aficionados. That is...
Hear how it sounds. I mean, once you obviously upgrade it, you can hear more, without thinking. Then I would suggest move on to an electronic or a pedal or a bike or something. But start out first, I would say, if you are using Morse code, get a straight key first. It is a lot harder, but the fruits that you can go with are just, so much better. Anyways, that's my 2 cents with that. I won't be coming back for what we do.
Yeah, I think you faded into the noise there, Warren. But yeah, all good advice and good stuff. And I see that Stan has posted that the other program, LCW, but I'm sure he'll talk to that when we get to Echolink just now. All right, good stuff. Thanks for that. Anybody else on 40 meters? That is 0AWA.
Good morning.
Morning, Johan. Take a round. CW, you in?
Okay, yeah, no, late on the road, just woken up, and the late night, did a bit of night shift here. So, lovely signals from all, and good morning, South Africa. Back to you. ZS6 Alpha Fox, just standing by.
Yeah, okay, fine, Johan. 5 and 7, no problem to copy you here. All right, let's move on to 20 meters. Chris, that is 6 Golf Mike with the 20 meter relays. That is 0AWA.
Yes, it is 0AWA, it is 6GM. All right, Rad, let's pick this up. We'll start with Russell. It is 2AHF. Good morning, Russell. No sign of Russell. Andy, it is 380Y, it is 6GM.
Yeah, it is Golf Mike, it is 381. Well, Chris, I kind of had my say on Echolink, but yeah, I just say again, we need to encourage people to use CW. It's a great means of communication, it really is, and it becomes very, very enjoyable. So yeah, we look forward to hearing more guys and on the next and maybe at other times too. So yeah, let's see how far we can go with it. That is 6 p.m. for the AWAs. It is 381.
Yeah, that is 381. That is 6 GM. Thanks, Andy. And yeah, I copied everything you said, but seeing as you're listening on 20, I wanted at least to give you a chance to talk. Okos, it is 1 OKO. Good morning. That is 6 GM.
Oh, good morning. That is 6 p.m. That is 1 OKO. Yeah, very good morning to all on frequency. And yes, 1967. I started an NSLI station in Asbury. I was the founder there. Did all the paperwork in the beginning, and then there was a situation we didn't have a boat, but we had one in sight, which was in Hermanus, which we went to collect, and then we rebuilt it into a rescue craft. And then there needed to be a radio operator. Well, Kiki here, he volunteered. He went to the post office and he went and he got his maritime ticket. So that included 15 words per minute Morse. And yes, we didn't use it very much because very shortly after that, the 2-meter band or the VHF band came into operation on ships, and you had to have a maritime ticket to operate that. So that ticket was good enough for that. But then that means that I did not practice all of my CW. Unfortunately, over the years I've been using normal Vox. So yes, one of these days I will possibly get in my old age, go back to CW and see how best I can get to an acceptable speed of sending and receiving. Receiving is not too bad, but every now and then we get a glitch. That is 6 GM operating. That is
Yeah, ZS1OKO, ZS6GM. Thanks very much for that, Arco, and interesting experience, and amazing how one gets started off. Right, 9J2BS, Jerry Mofalera. Go ahead, over. 9J2 Bravo Sierra, Jerry. I see Jerry's come up on Echo Link. Right, ZR6 Whiskey Tango. Stuart, good morning. Go ahead.
ZSØAWA, ZR6WT Division 1. Good morning, Chris. First of all, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Right, ZSØAWA, ZR6WT Division 1. Thanks for the topic, Shark. I got to say, it's quite out of my league. I did pick up Morse code at school and tried to get proficient, but soon stopped because of studies and so on. And lately, I just think I'm too old to start listening for patterns in words. I mean, I can know the Morse code, but to actually hear the pattern and hear the words seems beyond me at this stage. But maybe I've got to try one of these clever computer programs and see if I can get into it. I won't come back on the second round, but I will be listening. ZSØAWA is ZR6WT Division 1 in George.
Yeah, Stuart, before you disappear, what antenna are you using now?
I've put up vertical, as you suggested, but it's not a solid one. I've got a sort of a fiberglass rod, and with a wire hanging down, 7.1 meters. I didn't put any tuning at the bottom. I just put in a 9-to-1 balun. And then in my shack, I've got an APU where I tweak it up. And it seems to be doing well, actually. I'm very impressed so far. Back to you, Chris. ZS6GM operating ZSØAWA. This is ZR6WT Division 1.
Yeah, okay, ZR6WT stroke 1. Yeah, your antenna is doing very well, Stuart. Nice signal into here, an S5 to an S6. No problem copying at all. And I presume you've put yourself at least a few radials of similar length around the base of your antenna. Right, Dylan, ZS2MAC, ZS6GM for the AWA.
ZS6GM and the next ZS2MAC. Yeah, morning to all on frequency, and Chris, I'm copying you a good 55 here, 55 in Port Elizabeth, and I'm a little bit ignorant about the subject, but I'm listening with interest, and in PE at our PE Amateur Radio Club Pairs, there's a group of hams that are learning CW, and they practice on 6 meters. They have a weekly net on 6 meters, CW net, and it's run by Andrew Gray. He gave us a little bit of a lecture at our monthly weekend. It's quite interesting about how you learn it and all that. So anyway, back to you, Chris. ZS6GM, ZS2MAC.
Yeah, ZS2MAC, ZS6GM. Thanks very much, Dylan, and great to hear that Pairs is getting involved with CW. Yes, there's definitely quite a revival, and one of the interesting things was, I might have spoken about it a couple of months ago. There's a Korean band, a K-pop band, that has actually used Morse code to launch one of their new songs in one of their existing songs. So they've incorporated Morse code. So go and look it up, Morse code on K-pop. Right, anybody else like to report in on 20 meters? It is 6GM listening. Brian, 9J2BO, are you listening this morning? No, I think that's it for now, Rad. So it's back to you, and I won't be relaying a second round, but I'll keep this going until the end of the net. As it is 6 RADs, it is 6GM.
Okay, fine, Chris. Good stuff. Thank you very much for that, and fine from everybody there. Oh, interesting about the K-pop band. Anybody who listens to K-pop, I think my first introduction to CW on a commercial LP was an LP by Roger Waters called Radio Chaos, and that has quite a bit of CW in it, interestingly enough. All right, good stuff. Thanks for that, Chris. Let's go to the Stanton repeater. That is 6BOX, that is 0AWA. Okay, looks like Cliffy's gone. Wally, good morning to you. That is 6WLY, that is 0AWA. I'll start looking at my mixer to see if the volume levels are correct. Okay, so anybody else on 2 meters Stanton repeaters, that is 0AWA?
Yeah, good morning there, Red. That is Victoria, that is Victoria, that is 0AWA. I just want to say that the 6625 sounds much better than the 700. I don't know, maybe for the Renato's link. I'm actually coming to the 700 now. I listen between the two. And I just want to add, there's a new radio station where 702 is, just below it. I think it's 678. It's Radio Poppet. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but I was listening to that. Anyway, interesting about the CW. I just want to add my 5 cents worth. Busy mobile, yeah. That is 0AWA, that is 6RAD, that is 6RIT mobile.
Yeah, okay, fine, Rikus. Oh, good stuff. Good morning to you. And, yeah, all noted. And, yeah, I can't comment. As I say, my connection through to the Kempton Park repeater is via Echolink, via the ZSØAWA server. So there we go. But morning to you. Nice to hear you. Been a while. All right, final call. Stanton repeater, ZS0AWA.
It is 6 Bravo Kilo. Just to say good morning to all, and I am a Morse Code fan. Don't really know what the subject was about. Just about to leave for a meeting. Oh, that's about it. It is 6 Bravo Kilo. Off and clear.
Yeah, okay, fine, Bruce. Good stuff. Morning to you. Morning to the family. And yeah, no, I know you're a Morse Code chappie. We're talking Morse Code generally, and the promotion of CW as a mode. It shouldn't need promoting, but sometimes it's while doing it and just to jog people who think they've been sort of wavering on the subject, and maybe this will tip them over the edge and get them working. Interesting to hear what some people, I think it was Warren who was talking about keys, starting on a key. Yeah, I think that was the way it used to be. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend anybody start on a key. Start on a paddle. It's a lot easier on the wrist. So that's my take. All right, thanks guys. We'll go now to Stanton, to the Kempton Park repeater, and we'll see who's there. So Kempton Park, everybody there? It is. Who have I got? I've got Rodney. It is 6RHZ. It is 0AWA. Okay. Anybody else on Kempton Park wishing to comment? Give us some feedback on their CW or wanting to do CWs. That is 0AWA.
It is 0AWA. It is 6IM. Tim here, and just good morning to everybody on frequency. I've had quite an interesting experience with the CW. Started that a couple of years ago under the tutelage of Andy, and enjoying it thoroughly. And every now and again when I get a gap, I've got a couple of guys that I'm trying to teach CW to in the evenings. We do it on a Skype basis, and been thoroughly enjoying it. I just don't get around to doing enough of it. So ZS0AWA from ZS6IM.
Yeah, okay, morning Tim, and yeah, coming through nicely. Okay, no, fine, and Stan, ZL3 Tango Kilo, earlier posted on Echolink the LCWO, which is Learn CW Online. If you just Google that, you'll come up with their website. Sounds like an interesting way of doing it. We'll have to look through that and find out what's there. But there's an alternative online method of doing CW. So could be fun for you guys who are. I'm sure that's available as an app on your cell phone. I'm sure Stan will comment on that in the on Echolink just now. All right, so nobody else on the Kempton Park repeater, so we'll go to the Echolink ZS6REN, ZS0AWA.
Yeah, okay, thanks Red, ZS0AWA, ZS6REN. Well, I must say that I'm not quite a CW fan, but I can perhaps tell you a story or two. So in the past, the South African Signal Corps would use the Navy to teach its troops CW, and I had a petty officer. He was a South African Navy petty officer teach a bunch of guys, and the way it worked is you were basically given a sheet with the code, letters only, and he would start, this chap would just simply start and you know, just letters, random letters at a time, going very slowly so that you could just sort of hear the letter. Anyway, and then eventually it moved on, and it was always 5-letter groups and letters only, and he would go on, and then that went up to about 12 words a minute, but there was no emphasis on speed. There was no nothing like that. He was just sending. He would send the groups, and you had to copy, and then he would like mark you, and then he would get rid of all the guys that never got anywhere. So I got to 12 words a minute, but you know, I never sort of followed on. You know, you get deployed and you go to other places, and so you know, I never got back into the code. So I'd be quite curious to know how that Koch method, quite a few of you mentioned that Koch method. I'd be quite interested to know how that works. The South African Signal Corps used 5-letter groups. And then, but you know, that doesn't stop me from participating. So the AWA do have CW QSO parties, and I always try and participate. And the way I do it, I cheat, Red. I use I use my logging program, which is HRD, and when you load HRD, associated with that is you know, a bunch of the digital mode software applications, and on there is RTTY and of course CW, and it's very easy to connect a computer to the key of your to the key input of your radio, so that you can and then obviously you need audio. So you basically let HRD you know, decode the Morse code. Those Tono CW readers and so on also work quite well. And so I've managed a few contacts using that, and you know, at least have some fun you know, during the AWA CW QSO parties. I do know that there are a number of clubs out there. Kempton is one of them, as Tim's just said. Of course, the TJ Club also have a regular CW, you know, chaps learning CW. They all go to the clubhouse, and I'm not sure how it works, but anyway, I've seen it, and it seems quite popular. So there are ways to get into it and learn the code. I couldn't agree more. It's not really about the sending. It's everything is about listening, and just over and over and over and over. Anyway, that's it from my end, Red. Thank you so much. ZS0AWA, ZS6REN.
Yeah, okay, fine. From ZS6RAD. And thanks for that. John, ZS1WJ, ZS0AWA.
Yeah, fine. Good morning to everybody on frequency this morning, and trust all is well. Yeah, that was a long time back when I did CW, so when I got my license, we had to do it. So, yeah, but I haven't used it. What actually happened is when I was very busy in the job situation, traveling all over, and of course amateur radio took second place at that stage, and I actually didn't touch a radio for about 5-6 years, and when I got back to it, it was all phones and things like that, so we didn't really get back into CW, and that was what happened. Anyway, so that's the story. I have tried on the odd occasion, but I'm afraid my patience doesn't allow. It's one of those things. Anyway, I've got other interests at this stage. So that's my comment, right? I won't be coming back. We're going to go do some stuff quickly. And, yeah, but we will be, I'll leave the computer on in case when I'm in the shack I can hear what's going on. So there you have it. So back to you, ZS0AWA, operated by ZS6RAD, ZS1WJ. 73s to all, have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, okay, fine, John. Okay, we'll chat to you on Monday as always, and you and Mouse have a nice weekend. And yeah, be careful with that tiling and building and all the other things you're doing there. And we want to hear progress. All right, ZS6GM, Chris, your comments please on CW. I don't think you had a chance while you were doing the relay there. ZS0AWA.
ZS0AWA, ZS6GM. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. I was taught Morse code by Tippy Marez, ZS1 Charlie Lima, and I used to go around to him twice a week after work. And I would sit at his kitchen table, and he would send me hand-sent Morse, but he had a fabulous fist, really good. Hand-sent Morse out of the Burger. At that point in time, I was a real sout. He didn't speak or understand very much Afrikaans, but I certainly learned to copy Morse code without preempting what was coming up. And he sent to me at a word speed of about 15 to 18 words a minute, but a code speed of about 12 words a minute. So he taught me to hear the characters as an inclusive sound rather than a series of dots and dashes. And then eventually he started grouping words. So common words like the, it, QSO, had, nice, simple words, sort of 4 or 5 letter words, and then you start to recognize the word rather than recognizing the individual characters. And I guess it's like speaking a language. When you say the to somebody, you don't say THE or think THE, you just think the. And that's how I learned Morse code, and it was really very good. And then years later, a chap called Richard Howes, who used to work for Rakel, who worked for Dave Larson, ended up going to Canada as the CEO there, said that when I taught him Morse code, he was so impressed with my fist. And again, I say thanks to Tippy for that, because he taught the sort of what they used to call, I think, the rhythm method, where you would use a musical beat in your head to send your Morse code on your key, and it gave you a very smooth, nice sounding way of sending. So where people say start with an electronic key, I say no. Don't touch a key until you've learned to copy at least 15 words a minute, and only then start with the key, and I would definitely recommend starting with a manual key, but then that's my personal opinion. All right, back to you, Rad, and thanks. The relay is still going, but I'm not going to do any further call-ins on 20. ZS6RAD, ZS6GM.
Yeah, okay, fine, Chris. Yeah, no, I've heard that said before, that if you have a musical ear and you can appreciate rhythm, CW becomes a fairly smooth process. And yeah, agree with that completely. All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Interesting on your experiences of learning CW. Richard, good morning to you and Jill. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Charlie Delta, ZS0AWA.
ZS0AWA, this is Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Charlie Delta in the sunny Dodo. And fabulous topic. Very good morning to everybody on frequency. Good morning, Mr. President. Nice topic. Firstly, first point I want to make is that the revival on CW is very strong in Europe. And it's mainly younger and newly licensed people, which I find a total, well, I don't know what it is, but I'm amazed at it because, you know, you remove it from the license requirements and we've got a revival on our hands. So, with Jacques mentioning the SARL discussions and Andy saying the need to encourage people, it's almost the reverse in Europe. There's all sorts of clubs and in the States. Now, the second thing I wanted to say is how I learned Morse. 1977, I've written up how I was a reluctant radio amateur, but I learned Morse in the days when I had to do 200 contacts on Morse and get my log signed off before I could go off the phone. So it focused the mind, and the way I learned it was from tapes, not commercially available tapes. They were actually recorded by Tom Short, ZE1AN, the late Tom Short. And in the background was his lovebird aviary. So not only were the tapes very high quality in terms of dots and dashes and spacing, but it had built-in QRM and distraction as well with the lovebird aviary in the background. And I've still got those tapes somewhere. The one tape was progression of text in increasing speed, and the other tape was 5-letter groups. And I got a lot of support from him and also a few other hams, Dudley K. Eddy, Z21JE, and a few others. And I got on the air really with quite a good competency at 12 words a minute, and got the Morse certificate with a photograph on it to prove it, issued by the Telecommunications Authority in Salisbury, as it was then. So recently I was given a 1 year's honorary membership of the Long Island CW Club, and I put the link on the Telegram group. And this is a cautionary tale. If I look at the core effort of that club, which has got something like, well, currently 4,875 members, the core activity, which is teaching CW, is almost second to none. And in fact, I have the simulator bookmarked, and it's a configurable simulator, so you can individually adjust letter speed, word speed, and the interval. and it's a highly structured set of lessons which are designed to push you over the limit. Each lesson pushes you over the limit. But from that, I discovered that they were trying to be all things to all men, and the peripheral activities of that club, it was trying to do everything anybody could think of in ham radio, from pops on the air, summits on the air, troubleshooting old boat anchors, and so on and so forth. And I even did a presentation on that club on the British Arctic Air Routes Expedition, a Zoom presentation for them. But, and this is the but, because of all those activities, even if you set your communications to digest, I found that I was sometimes deleting 5 emails a day, and I was getting warning bells up on my free account that my inbox was filling up and all the rest of it, and it was almost as though it was harassment. And when they came at the end of the year and they said, okay, well, another $60 and you could have life membership, I wrote a polite letter back and saying I'd rather not because I can't do it all. And I left it at that. So anyway, I can communicate on CW at a reasonable speed. Occasionally I get a bit of a cross-up on certain things, but practice makes perfect, and I'm not doing the practice. So I think when I return to ham activity, when the shack is finished, and 1 or 2 other critical jobs around the place are behind me, and I pick up the ham radio hobby in its totality again, then I should probably indulge in driving my Morse capability up by having QSOs, which is the finest way. Now the last comment, the relay is absolutely superb, boys, this morning. I really have enjoyed the relays. So back to you, Rad. ZSØAWA, this is Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Charlie Delta, over. More frequent.
Okay, fine, Richard. Thank you for that. And interesting stuff. All right, Stan, good evening to you. ZL3 Tango Kilo, ZS0AWA.
ZS0AWA from ZL3 Tango Kilo. Good evening, everybody. Well, it's evening here. I realise it's morning at your place. Well, I have not heard quite such an interesting net for a long time, and you've certainly come to rest on a subject that's very dear to my heart, one that we can barely scratch the surface of, to be honest. If you guys are really interested in getting this thing going, and I can only imagine that you are, then there's some very good information you can use to set up your own nightly CW net, and the details are to be found at nzcw.net. We have an NZ net here every working night, weeknight, at 9 PM, and I have to say that that really has changed my life, CW life, that is. Some of the things that Chris commented on, ZS6GM, I couldn't agree with more. It's all to do with sound, recognizing the sound of letters, and the more you use the Farnsworth method of, say, 20 words a minute as your letter speed, word speed, and then 12 words a minute, or 5 words a minute even, for your Farnsworth speed, then you're going to catch on very well. And of course LCWO is the platform which will allow you to do that very, very quickly. There is so much to comment on. I'm so sorry I can't really do it justice. There are a number of ideas on my website, which is very kindly hosted by qsl.net. You'll see there are, I'm not sure whether I've got it listed yet because they haven't got a website, but in Australia there's a VK CW QRS net. They call it a net, but it's really a group, which meets every Tuesday night, 0800 Zulu through to about 1300 Zulu, and that is specifically for slow and new operators. It's very worthwhile going on and helping them along. You just got to adjust your habits to accommodate these guys, and in a very short time they have learned how to do it. It is a very rewarding activity. So thanks very much for having me aboard tonight, and I wish you all 7-3 and much more appropriately 7-7. So back to the net from ZL3.
Yeah, ZL3 Tango Kilo, ZS0AWA, operated by ZS6RAD. Excellent, Stan. Thank you very much indeed. And it seems just to be coincidental that you're on with us this evening when it's a CW discussion group. And so, yeah, we hope that you'll come again in the future, not necessarily on CW, but certainly on topics of interest for discussion by the members of the group. And we have an unusually large net this morning here, as you observed, and which is very encouraging. It's great when we have a large net of radio hams with an interest in antique equipment on this morning. But great on your comments. I've made some notes. We'll go and look you up on qsl.com and qsl.net. Okay, apologies. And see what you have there. Look forward to that. And anything else that you think will be of benefit to us here. There are quite a number, as you probably heard, a number of WhatsApp groups. And also there is a, let me just go back to it. There is an interest group, just picking it up now, a ZSØAWA group, a forum topic on the South African Radio League website, which also deals with all things CW and teaching and learning and experience and so on. So yeah, I guess people would be interested to hear your comments there as well. And yeah, we also have a Telegram net, AWA net, and if you would like to join that, we would just need a telephone number from you. We have a number of people on the net who are from overseas, so it shouldn't be any difficulty to accommodate you. So just let us know whether you would be interested in joining that. It's not for CW, of course, it's for everything related to amateur radio, antique wireless. All right, but great to hear you, and thanks for joining us this morning. Louis, ZR4DJL, any comments from yourself? ZS0AWA. Okay, and then there's Heather. Heather, I haven't seen you for a while. Nice to see your call sign up on the list. ZS5 Yankee Hotel, ZS0AWA. Okay, Heather's listening. Stuart, good morning to you. ZR6 Whiskey Tango Division 1, ZS0AWA.
ZSØAWA06WT Division 1. Good morning, Rad, and everyone else on frequency. Nothing further to add. I'm not into CW, but wish I was. It does fascinate me, that mode. As I said, on 20 meters, I did try and get into it at school, but other things took priorities. And now I think I'm a bit too old to pick up these sounds or recognize these sounds, which I agree is the right way to do it, and not try and listen for dots and dashes. Anyway, I'm listening with interest. ZS0AWA, ZR6WT.
Oh, you're never too old, Stuart. Dear. Anyway, good stuff. Good to hear you. Thanks for joining us. Ronnie, good morning to you. ZS5ABD, ZS0AWA.
Okay, ZS0AWA, ZS5 Alpha Bravo Delta. Well, morning to one and all there. And yeah, CW has never been a friend of mine, I'm afraid. When we had to learn it many years ago, early 70s, I was lucky in the way that I had Eric in Glencoe, who was very good at CW. He used to call himself Uncle Baker. Guys will remember that from way back probably. And he used to come up on our 2-meter repeater, and we'd have a chat, and then he'd send me Morse code, and I'd send him some, and so that's how I started with it. And then of course later on I found the local postmaster who did the tests and things, and that was also good at CW. So I used to go at lunchtime to his office, and he'd sit across the table from me while he had his lunch, and I also would have lunch, and he would send to me from his newspaper which he was reading, and then we would switch keys and what next, and he would then I would send to him from the newspaper as well, and that went on for quite a while, until one day he said to me, no man, you're good enough for the license. So he signed the license and all the rest of it, and that was my entry into Morse code as such. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all, so I didn't participate much in it after that, and I doubt if I could ever do it again today. So anyway, Red, I'm going to disappear. I want to go and listen to the science technology thing on the net, on the well, I suppose it's the what do you call it? I think they're using one of the platforms at the moment, so I'm going to go across there and do some listening. I want to listen to the first half anyway. So have a good day one and all, and we'll look out for you again next week. ZS0AWA, ZS5 Alpha Bravo Delta, Ladysmith.
Yeah, okay, fine. Oh, good stuff. Yeah. It grabs certain people certain ways and other people other ways, doesn't it? So there we go. Stan, I see you put a comment there, exceeding transmit time limit. I don't know whether that refers to yourself, but if you are on doing that on Echolink, if you go into Tools, Setup and Time, you can set the transmit time limit to a maximum of 3,600 seconds, which is an hour, and you won't be bothered with transmit time messages again, unless you of course transmit for more than an hour without a break. Okay, who's next on the list? Dion. Okay, I see you were listening. Dion, just in case, ZR1 X-ray, ZS0AWA. Okay, then we'll move on to Andy's had so many turns, but no more. He said his piece. Jerry, good morning to you. 9J2BS, ZS0AWA.
Very good morning to you, Red. and everybody listening, ZS6RAD operating ZS0AWA 9J2BS. Yeah, Chris, apologies for 20 meters. I actually had to run outside and to check if the antenna's okay. That's how quickly the band dropped. I thought something happened to the antenna. It just shut down. You were a very nice signal here by me. I was just enjoying listening to the net, and then it just dropped off. That's a bit of a strange one. Normally it gives you a bit of a indication, but yeah, that didn't happen this morning. Yeah, CW, I'm a big CW fan. Sadly, I'm not on as often as I should. Brian is representing Zambia in that department. Old man Brian is him and Brent. They basically only use CW. And Mupanga and myself, yeah, a little bit. I do participate in CW, especially now with this QRP rig. Well, it is QRP. It's only 5 and 10 watts. It's quite fun, but I only operate with a pedal. I do have, which I bought years and years ago. I don't know how old that thing is. An old MFJ 464 keyer and decoder, which I've actually got going last year again. I must actually revive that thing again and get that in. But like Renato said on Ham Radio Deluxe, all that is available, even in keying and everything, so no problem. But I'm a big fan of CW RAD. That's all I can add this morning. ZS6RAD operating ZS0AWA 9J2BS over.
Yeah, okay, fine, Jerry. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Brian, of course, is Mr. CW 9J. Good stuff. All right, thanks, Jerry. Good to hear you. I'm trying to read this. Foxtrot 6, Foxtrot Mike Tango. Good morning, ZS0AWA. Okay, I think he's listening. All right, so at the end there, so Jacques, in answer to your introduction about CW, there you've got it. Got all of it. ZS6JPS, ZS0AWA. What say?
ZS0AWA operated by RAD ZS6RAD from ZS6JPS. Wow, what great feedback. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I think we all did. At the beginning I was a bit worried when I got asked this question about a week and a half ago. And I thought, you know what, this topic has probably been thrashed out, like you yourself said, Rad, it's an old chestnut. And I had a chuckle when I heard that, because that's absolutely true. However, even, you know, being that, it was still such a fascinating topic. I've learned a lot. I've got the website open in the background here, LCWO, Learn CW Online. I never knew about this. And I've saved it, I've bookmarked it. And I will be playing around on there. And there's been such incredible guidance, advice, feedback. I mean, I never considered that it's easier to start with a paddle, you know, compared to a straight key. And I've been thinking about this, and it makes sense. And so thanks for that feedback, and also suggestions and advice like, you know, never send faster than what you can receive. That's a very good piece of advice there, very good word of advice. And yes, some are against the oscillators, you know, to practice with, and some are for it. And very interesting to hear about all the stuff that's happening on air. Absolutely fascinating. I was wondering whether someone would be willing to, I don't know if anyone made notes, but whether someone would be willing to compile this for us into a newsletter article, and to state all the frequencies where one can play around and learn, and also all the apps, all the websites. The Koch method seems to be very much more preferred compared to the Farnsworth, so also very interesting. And so now I've certainly learned a lot, and I think a lot of us have. So yes, I must ask again if there's anyone that has taken notes. Look, we also do put the discussions and the nets, we do put it online onto our website, so you can actually download and re-listen to the entire net. All the nets can be found on our website, thanks to Andy. And so perhaps we should go through it again, make notes, and make an article out of it to state all the frequencies, all the apps, the websites that we know of, the help that is available, the suggested methods, and some hints and pointers into a one encompassing article. I wonder if that would be a good idea. But thanks again for all the feedback. I've learned a lot. I've written down a lot. I've saved some bookmarks, some websites, and yeah, very interesting journey ahead. But yes, I think we've all learned and we've all had a great chat. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend further, and thank you to all the callers in and all the listeners. Been always great, and certainly had fun today. Back to you, Rad. ZS0AWA from ZS6JPS.
Yeah, okay, fine. Jacques, very good. And, well, you always know when we've had a good net when we go past the 10 o'clock mark here in South Africa. So we've gone past that mark, and we haven't even got into the second round, which is basically our final comment round. So, yeah, and I thought it was a great net. I thought it was absolutely excellent. There's lots of excellent comment, international involvement, and excellent indeed. So thanks to everybody who participated. Right, let's go back to 40 meters and see if there's any further comments there. So general call, 40 meters regarding the net, ZS0AWA.
ZSØAWA, this is ZS5 India Echo. Just been listening with interest. And quite a gathering and quite a lot of talk about CW. I'm not a CW operator at this point in time, but I've certainly done it over my past years, and the last time I operated CW was on Moonbound. So
thank you to everybody on 40 who listened and enjoyed it. There's no further relay on, well, there's a relay, but Chris is not available. Nobody on Santon wishing to comment on CW, ZS0AWA? Okay, thank you for that. Then we'll go to the Kempton Park repeater. Kempton Park repeater, feedback from the net. ZS0AWA. Okay, so happiness there. And anybody on Echolink wishing to feedback? ZS0AWA.
ZS380Y. Rad, I just want to I know you said I've had enough turns. Just want to chip in here. And this not to do with what we've been discussing this morning, but two very interesting emails that came back as a result of the newsletters. One from a Jean-Luc, Foxtrot 6 Hotel Oscar Yankee, who says that he enjoys reading the newsletter and he often listens to the net using the web SDR. And he listens to our net that way. So Jean-Luc, if you are listening, good morning and welcome to you. And of course there is also the option of Echolink if you want to use that as well. And then from Stan, I think it's he that was up this morning, also an email back from him, and very interesting indeed. So Stan has given me a bit of information on the CW in VK, so that was also quite interesting. But thanks guys, thanks very much, very interesting listening, and let's hope we hear some more guys up on CW sometime. ZS0AWA, ZS380Y. Cheers guys, have a great day.
Yeah, ZS6GM for a quick one. I had a call from Ronald. He said after the net on 7125, anybody who can stand by to assist. They have 5 new hams who need HF assessments on 7125. Thanks, Rad. ZS6GM.
Thanks for that, Chris and Andy. Good stuff. And good morning to Jean-Luc, if he's listening. I'll put his call sign down here, and then the Foxtrot 6 Hotel Oscar Yankee. Good morning and welcome, and we hope you enjoy our nets. Anybody else on Echo Link wishing to comment? ZSØAWA.
Do you copy Rad? ZR1X?
Yeah, morning Dion. You fixed your mic. Go ahead.
Oh, there's some delay. It's cropped up. I'm pressing the PDT, but it doesn't start transmitting immediately. Good morning, Rad. Good morning to the net. And it's the first time I'm joining the net. I often listen. Just briefly, my experience in learning CW, I was very fortunate. Matriculated in Johannesburg and then came down to the Navy to do my national service in '73. And it's like having an uncle in the furniture business. I had an uncle in the Navy. He only had girls, he didn't have a boy, and he always said, my boy, referring to me, will one day go to the Navy. Unfortunately, he passed away before that, but my aunt ensured that I got into the Navy. And when I was there, I put my hand up very quickly and I went to signal school. I was in my element. When we arrived there, the first thing they said was forget about everything else, and we went straight to the classroom. We did various subjects, but one of the first things they taught us was typing, and it was done with a sight and sound method like they teach in the secretary school. They teach the secretaries to type with sight and sound method. We had old Remington typewriters, manual things, modern at the time, and all the keys on the typewriter were painted out with dark blue paint, and only the 8 landing keys where your 4 left hand and 4 right hand fingers normally rest were painted turquoise blue. So you couldn't see the letters, you only knew where they were, and with the typing they first taught you which finger to put onto which key. And we couldn't see the sense of that, but we had to learn to type. Later on it became evident the typing was because the CW comes in so fast that you cannot write with a pen. So the typing came first, and then once we mastered the keyboard and we could type, only then did we go into learning the Morse code. And again, we weren't allowed to touch a pen or paper. They would send a character and you would use the right finger on the right key to type that letter. And that's how we learned CW. And all the time you can see you didn't know where your fingers were typing. You just had to learn the right thing. We spent 4 months doing various subjects in the signal school. And by the time we were done with the keyboard, then came the straight key, that old grey NATO-style British Navy grey key that they used in those days. I must admit, I think that was my time out. It was a big thing, but it worked extremely smoothly. So then we went on to the key for the first time. So no touching the key until we were fluent in receiving CW. And then after that, I must admit the sending was very easy once we mastered the initial stages. And on that straight key, I passed the exam with 36 words a minute. I have no idea how I did it. I was young, I was 19 years old. I suppose then you can do anything. But it's like riding a bicycle. You don't forget it, and it's great fun. It's like a language. You don't use it, you lose it. And I'm afraid I've lost a lot of my speed. I can still copy and so on. Over the years, I've taken part just for the heck of it in the CQ Worldwide CW contest. Just copying, not sending, and there's a good learning curve again, keeping the speed up. But I'm ever so grateful for those 4 months in signal school, because I learned to type and I learned CW, and both have stood me well in my life. My life has consisted of typing, sitting in front of a computer and so on. So that was great. After that, I was drafted to maritime headquarters here in Muizenberg, and I spent the rest of my I spent the rest of my national service at Maritime Headquarters, and my job there was at the station, ship-to-shore station, where we would serve in a watch system. A watch system where throughout the 24 hours you would be on so many hours and off so many days and so on. A typical watch system that they would follow on the ships, we also had to follow at Maritime Command. And that was my job, was ship to shore, where we had a bank of transmitters and receivers in front of you, and big transmitting station here the other side of Durbanville, and receiving station on top of the mountain where we were. And the function was to transmit and receive traffic from the ships wherever they were, and to send them weather reports and other reports. But everything was in 5-letter code, so you had no idea what was going out, you had no idea what was coming in. You simply had to send and receive what you heard in 5-letter codes. Your 5-letter code reception sheet that you wrote up then went into a little conveyor belt, and that went into an encryption room where they decrypted those things and got the messages. So as an operator, you had no idea what you were sending. It was just groups of 5-letter groups. Just letters and figures. I can't remember in the 5-letter groups there was no punctuation. But when we got on the key to the ship to chat to the operator, of course, then it was plain language. But the rest of the time it was 5-letter groups. And that was possibly the best year of my life. Thank you. It's been a very nice and very interesting morning, I must admit. ZS6RAD and the group ZR1X.
Yeah, fascinating, Dion. And you remind me of old Robin Cardy, who used to run, he used to run the shop up here. Similarly trained like yourself, but I think in Royal, I don't know whether he was Royal Signal Corps or Royal Navy, I'm for one of those, but also sort of similarly taught. And I remember him talking about his training on CW and with typewriters, and not in quite the detail that you gave to us, but I'm pretty sure it was similar. So excellent and fascinating. Yeah, and I guess at 19 you can do anything, as you say. So well done. All right, good stuff. Thank you for that. And anybody else on Echolink wishing to comment? That is ZSØAWA. Okay, so there we go. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Jacques, for the topic this morning, and a really excellent topic. The response has been brilliant, and we can just hope that in the future all our topics have a similar response and a similar interest, and the response is similar, and we get as many people as we did today. I haven't counted up, but it is a goodly number. I would say in excess of maybe around 40 people on the net today. So well done, Andy. I hope somebody has recorded that. I'm pretty sure you were there, and it'll be posted on the website for people to go back through or listen to again when time permits. 7-3s all round. Thank you to the Santon Club for the use of their repeater, and for the Kempton Park Club. Thank you to Chris for doing the relay. Chris will not be available for a couple of 3 weeks. I'm not quite sure how long. He is, as you all know, moving house, and that process is going apace. And thank you, Andy. So we'll are looking for somebody to do the 20-meter relay, or to do 40 meter relay while I attempt a 20 meter relay. So I'm looking for a volunteer for next weekend, and maybe a couple of weekends after that into May. All right. Who else? Thank you to Renato for running the server down in down in Sydenham. He's suffering from a power outage at the moment, so Andy, you might have to pay his petrol for the generator. That's if he puts an invoice in. All right, 7-3s all round. Everybody have a super weekend, and we'll do it all again in 7 days. ZS6RAD. Frequencies are clear and open for general use. Good morning.